Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. I am Siti Fana, the team leader that is appointed to discuss about this issue with my team member Nurzana Tosna. So, welcome to our meeting. Thank you for being present in this meeting. And without further ado, can we call this meeting in order?
Sure, Miss.
Alright, so for your information, Mr. Arshad is the new elected local political leader of the Lower Hamlet.
Hey everyone.
Hello and welcome, Mr. Arshad.
Alright, welcome Mr. Arshad to this meeting. So let's get started, shall we? And as I've mentioned before, there's an issue that has arisen at this particular village. So what exactly is the issue that we need to discuss today?
Okay, actually, we are facing a conflict surrounding the use of spring water from a source known as Botekodaro that is located in Nepal. By Nepalese standard, the population of the region is socio-economically uniform, comprising Brahmin, Kshatri, and Tamil groups. However, it is relatively densely populated with only a few springs to provide drinking water for more than around 70 households.
I see. So what seems to be the issue here?
Okay, the issue is the Botico Daro Spring is located on the land of one individual and private land, and despite being one of the largest source of the water in the area, it's proven drinking water for only 7 household and irrigation for 2 household. Meanwhile, household lower down the valley in a more influenced area of the village suffer from drinking water shortage.
I see. So I've heard about this whole conflict earlier, and if I'm not mistaken, the first attempt by the people of the Lower Hamlet to use the spring came around 1970s, right?
Yes, Miss, that's right. Actually, two wealthy villagers successfully negotiated with the owner of the spring regarding the supply of water to the lower hamlet. However, the arrangement did not become permanent due to the cost involved in transporting water to the lower hamlet.
I see. So have they ever met a second round of negotiation?
Yes, miss. A second round of negotiation occurred around 1989. The discussion between the owner and the others permanent user of the spring was made, and they are agreed that some of the water should be diverted to use in the lower hamlet.
Okay, but I have heard that subsequently the owner of the spring reneged the agreement and also refused to allow the water to be supplied to the lower hamlet. Am I right?
Yes, Miss, that's right. It is because the owner said that the affluent people of the lower hamlet had treated him badly in the past due to his lower social status. So, in addition, the other established users claimed that there was not enough water to go around and so on.
I see. Now I understand the situation clearly. So, with that being said, do we have any situation that is a win-win between the lower hamlet and the owner of the Boticodara Spring?
Okay, for me, first thing first, we need to find the truth, which is whether the people of the lower hamlet treat the owner badly or not. If the people of the lower hamlet had treated the owner badly in the past, I think they need to apologize first because as a human being, we cannot treat people badly just because of their status. So it is wrong, and we can understand why they refuse to allow water to be supplied to the lower hamlet. Right, Mr. Arshad?
Yes, I can understand that. In this case, I will instruct those involved to apologize to the owner and ensure that this problem not happen again.
Okay. Actually, two villagers who were not involved in the dispute, lack of water was not the true reason for the conflict. This conflict happened is because of the jealousy over the increasing economic status of the villagers in the lower hamlet.
Okay, that sounds very concerning. So, is there any way to overcome this situation?
Yes, miss. So my suggestion is the spring owner should sell the spring to the villagers of the lower hamlet on condition that the water is accessible to both group of users. The spring owner can set some conditions to allow the water to be taken alternatively.
Miss Husna, if it's okay, can you share what is the type of condition that we can give today?
Oh, okay, sure. It is up to the owner to determine as long as it does not violate the law. For example, the villagers of the lower hamlet can construct a reservoir tank close to the source to collect water so that it can reduce the cost of transporting. Next, the owner also can set a time when the lower hamlet can collect the water and so on.
So I see there are two condition. Okay.
Alright, the idea sounds great. How about Mr. Arshad? Do you have any ideas on behalf of the Lower Hamlet? But you have to make sure that you give a win-win situation between the Lower Hamlet and the owner, okay?
Yes, I also have a idea about win-win situation. Wait, I check my note. Okay, regarding to my notes, there are three things to do as owner of the spring and the lower hamlet. Okay, the first one is they need to separate people from the problem. The owner of the spring need to avoid the lower hamlet as their opponent. Be sure they are focused on the issue and try to ignore personality differences. In other words, they must putting yourself in their shoes. For example, previous bad experience in negotiation can affect the behavior. Okay. The second thing is they need to focus on common interests. Try to keep the conversation continuous and avoid attributing blame. Once both of them know that their interests have been considered, they are more likely to be respective to different point of view. For instance, the owner of the spring can get payment from selling the water at an affordable price, and the lower hamlet can get the source from the owner, but they need to pay according to their agreement. And the lastly is to know the best alternative to negotiate agreement. In this case, the owner of the spring and the lower hamlet need to make the agreement that is suitable for both of them. For example, for example is quantity of the water, price of certain amount of water, storage tank, passage of the water, and duration of the agreement, both of them. That is only my idea, miss.
Alright, that sounds very interesting. So, as for what Mr. Arshad just explained, I think we need to discuss closely with both sides as we can get a fair decision and also a win-win situation. So, what do you guys think?
I agree, miss.
I also agree, miss.
Alright. However, I do have one question since you guys just gave some really great solutions. When should we implement them? Is it as soon as possible?
Yes, miss. We can implement them as soon as possible, step by step. Surely we don't want to make sudden changes for the people. So I'm sure they can get used to them if we do it one by one.
Alright, so what do you think, Mr. Arshad?
As a new elected local political leader of the lower hamlet, to solve this conflict, I think we need to make a meeting next week with both of them, the spring owner and the lower hamlet, regarding this issue. So that time we can give an explanation about what we discussed early in this meeting. We need to make sure they have in the ending of the day, they will have one complete agreement based on this issue, and that's make them in win-win situation.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Arshad. If this problem can be solved earlier, I think it will be easier for both parties.
Alright, so based on what you guys just shared with each other and me, we had a lot of good discussions and we accomplished a lot too. So before we end the meeting, do you guys have any questions that you guys would like to ask?
Hmm, I have one question, not question lah, but if it's possible, if you and Miss Husna and Miss Fahana visit the village to supervise the whole station, I can bring all of you to see the whole village.
I think me and my team will make some time for that. Is sometime next week possible for you since as Mr. Arshad said that there will be a meeting with both the owner of the spring and also the lower hamlet. So I think we can also see how the meeting goes from there and how they would react to this whole solutions.
Okay, I can next week I can go.
Alright. So I think that is all for today. Thank you guys for being present in this meeting and also for bringing up brilliant solutions to overcome this whole situation. I hope that we won't have the meeting for the same issue again. So let's just hope for the best. Thank you guys.
Okay, thank you. I hope we can solve this problem lah.